Welcome Union Arena players. Thank you for checking out the channel. My name is Damos and I'm an official Union Arena level 1 judge through Bandai Organized Play. And as you can tell from the title of the video, I wanted to provide some clarification and rulings around certain cards and scenarios from the two new sets that are officially released as of May 30th, 2025. Black Clover and Bleach Volume 2 come with many new abilities, and I've seen a lot of questions regarding certain cards and interactions. First, let's start with some official rulings thanks to our level 0 judge who was able to get these questions answered for the players directly from Bandai and the game developers. The first official ruling we're going to go over is actually more of a clarification on this Mumen Rider from the One Punch Man set. This was posted back in March. A lot of questions came up over this. The wording of this Mumen Rider is a little wonky and not the same as other cards you may have seen that have similar abilities. So let's go ahead and check this out. It's an activate main, and you switch the card to resting once per turn. This character gains yellow energy generation, and at the end of the main phase, sideline this character until the end of the turn. Now, this has been confusing to a lot of players. It sounds like the card will be sidelined at the end of the main phase. However, at the end of the turn, it will actually be played back. Unfortunately, that is not the case. That would pretty much be a free card and a free energy generation consistently. And while it does go with Mumen Rider from the show, he never gives up. Unfortunately, that's not how the card works. It will work like normal if you've ever seen any other cards, which I'm about to show you here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Yuji. It is worded differently, however, the effect is essentially the same, and can totally see where the until the end of this turn on the Mumen Rider can definitely confuse some people. The until the end of the turn is gaining the ability of yellow energy generation, as well as the condition at the end of the main phase, sideline this character. That is what the character is gaining until the end of the turn. It is not sideline this character until the end of the turn. So that is the ruling on this Mumen Rider. As you can see, both the cards, slightly different text, but they do have the exact same ability. Let's go ahead, jump into the second official ruling we recently received on May 27th, 2025. This one actually has to do with a brand new card that was announced for the new set for Rurouni Kenshin. Now, this ruling specifically pertains to the during your turn ability outside of the raid box, so that's all we're going to focus on here today. So let's go ahead and read this. During your turn, your opponent's characters that lose to this character in battle move to their energy line instead of being sidelined. Now, as you can see, we have an example over here of Watchdog Man. The only ability this card has is this character cannot move. So if he's played on the front line, he cannot be moved back to the energy line, and vice versa. If he's played on the energy line, cannot be moved to the front line, even by your opponent's abilities. So if this Kenshin Himura attacks and Watchdog Man blocks, through normal game mechanics, Watchdog Man would be sidelined. However, Kenshin Himura has a replacement ability, and the character that loses to Kenshin in battle would, instead of being sidelined, be moved to the energy line. However, Watchdog Man can't be moved, and so what happens? Well, we did get clarification. The official ruling on this interaction is Watchdog Man will not be moved and Watchdog Man will not be sidelined, essentially providing a free block. Now, this doesn't pertain to the newest sets right now. It will happen in the future because Kenshin is not a card that you can use right now. We have obviously the Union Arena Championship Series Gold Union Rare version on the screen. However, the set doesn't come out until September, so we really won't have to worry about this till then. But it's important that we know this, and we do actually have other cards like this. And because it is Bleach release weekend, I did want to go ahead and show another card, and that is Kenpachi Zaraki. If you read the first line of this card cannot be played onto or moved to your energy line. So it's another card that can't be moved by Kenshin. It is a free block. It will not be sidelined, and it's a very interesting interaction. If you've ever seen Rurouni Kenshin, he does not kill, and Union Arena developers wanted to embody that, and so he won't be sidelining stuff, at least this version of the card. Now, let's go ahead and get into the next ruling. We have here Asta from the new Black Clover starter deck. Now, this ruling was asked with the Genos in mind. This was just the example given. It is not specifically having to do with this card. It can happen with multiple other cards. The Genos is there essentially for the win sidelined ability. Now let's go ahead and read over the Asta first and see why this question was asked and why we needed some clarification and an official ruling. So it does pertain to the win played ability. Place the top card of your deck face down under this character. Choose up to one character on your opponent's front line. It loses all base abilities until the start of your next turn. Essentially, a base ability is pretty much everything printed on the card. It will lose the base abilities. So, Genos has a win sidelined ability, and the question came up, if Genos is sidelined after the Asta's ability has resolved, will the win sideline ability activate? And the answer is no. A win sideline effect applies when a character is sidelined from the field due to effect or battle. The condition for the effect to apply must see it sidelined from the field. Asta's ability makes an opponent's character lose all base abilities. Now, the win sidelined is included in that. It is a base ability. So, as an example, if Genos blocks, loses the battle, and is sidelined, he essentially has no printed text because he's lost all of his base abilities. And since the win sidelined ability was not present at the time the Genos left the field, the effect will not activate. This is quite an interesting ruling. I know people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! See this completely different. This game is definitely not Yu-Gi-Oh! However, you can't say this game is a normal Bandai game either. There's tons of references to other rulings in other Bandai games, and they're not the same either. So Union Arena is definitely its own thing, and I'm glad we got clarification on this. So if you have this Asta and you are targeting a card with a win sideline ability, that win sideline ability will not activate. Now let's go ahead and get into our last official ruling of this video. This one pertains to Hellish Blizzard from One Punch Man. Now we got this a couple days ago on the 29th of May, and a lot of questions came up around this card, specifically for the word. So let's go ahead and read over this and see what's up. When played, Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 1 yellow card with 3 or less required energy among them. Add it to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. Place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. If the revealed card was an event card, place it into your sideline instead. So that last part is replacing the add it to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. So the question arises, when you play the Hellish Blizzard, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You have nothing or don't reveal anything. Do you then still need to discard? The answer is no. A lot of people thought you may have to because of the wording. Since the effect says up to 1 card, choosing 0 cards means the specific action add 1 card to your hand does not occur. Therefore, you do not need to sideline. So now let's go ahead and get into some common scenarios and questions I've seen regarding specific cards. First up I have here is the 5 Energy Asta. And the first thing I want to go over here, a lot of people seem to be confused on the if on the frontline ability within the raid box. So let's check this out. At the start of your turn, place the top card from this rated character into your sideline. If this character has a face down card under it, place 1 face down card under this character into your sideline instead. Now, we get a lot of questions here asking, is this mandatory? Do I have to do this? And the answer is yes. It is a mandatory effect if it's on your front line. Remember, if you raid this Asta, just like all other raids, you may move it up to your front line. You do not have to. You can still get the win played ability on the back line. And then after your next turn, you can move it up, and on the front line ability will activate the next turn. So that's something to think about when you're playing this Asta, so you can get an extra turn to put a card underneath it or not. Essentially, this is mandatory. However, there's multiple questions regarding this. As you can see in the image, the left Asta has only the base raid material, while the right Asta has the base raid material and a face down card under it. Now, with the ability, if you place the face down card into your sideline, the rated Asta does not go away. However, there are some questions regarding when there is no face down card and you have to place the Asta into your sideline. What happens with, in this specific example, the 0 required energy Asta that is rated under it? Essentially, the card just stays on the field. There's not really an official term for this, but you unrate it, derate it, however you want to say it. You place the 5 energy Asta into your sideline, and the rated Asta, whether it's this one or another one, stays on the field. Now, I've also seen questions about if the character underneath has a win played ability, does it count as being played again? And the quick answer, no. While it is a completely different card and any abilities affecting the previously rated Asta are no longer applied, it is not considered to be played to the field again, so any win played abilities do not apply. That's been a common question I've seen, so if you're ever in this scenario, now you know how this interaction works. Let's go ahead and check out the next scenario we have here. This is regarding Bleach and the new blue color. Now, multiple cards activate or have effects when a card is placed into the sideline during that turn. For example, this 0 energy Ichigo draws a card and then places one card from your hand into your sideline. Let's take a look at another card that pairs with that. Here is the Zangetsu. Now, the Zangetsu says when this card is placed from your hand into your sideline by an ability on a blue Ichigo on your field, that Ichigo may gain. This character cannot be blocked by a character with 3,000 or less BP until the end of the turn. So if you play the Ichigo Kurosaki 0 energy and then you place the Zangetsu into the sideline, your Ichigo would now be able to gain that ability. Now, this really wouldn't be the ideal situation because the Ichigo has this ability when played, and as most cards do, they are played resting. So the cannot be blocked ability doesn't really pair well with this, but this is just an example. Now, I wanted to go ahead and talk about another card here because I've seen newer players think that this interaction can work. So let's take a look at another new blue card, Charlotte Chulhorn. Now, this card has an ability, when sidelined, if it is your turn, choose up to one character on your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. You can only activate this Charlotte Chulhorn ability one time each turn. Now, you may think that if you play the Ichigo, draw a card, and then from your hand place the Charlotte Chulhorn into the sideline, it may gain the win sidelined ability. However, that is not the case. The win sideline has to be from field. Otherwise, it is considered being placed into the sideline, not being sidelined. Now, this is a very important interaction to know. This interaction would be very good, especially late game when you're swinging for game. You play this Ichigo, you get rid of a Charlotte, rest a character. Unfortunately, that's just way too much, and that is not how the cards work. So remember, win sidelined abilities do not work when they are placed there from your hand into the sideline. They need to be sidelined from the field to get that specific ability. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a question I've seen asked quite a bit in a specific scenario that can come up with the new support as well as many old sets, anything having to do with damage 2. Let's check this out. Now, here I've set up a board for the example. We have the main focus right now, the new Ichigo Kurosaki. Now let's take a look at this Ichigo's effect. If there are 10 or more cards in your removal area or 2 or more Squad 0 affinity cards with unique names in your removal area, this card gains damage 2. Now, essentially, I set up this scenario so this card could gain damage 2. As you can see in the top right corner, there are 2 Squad 0 unique named characters removed from the game currently. So this Ichigo has damage 2. As you can see, the purple Black Clover player is playing Dark Triad and they have no field. So they are going to take 2 damage. Let's go ahead and see what the life is with this Ichigo dealing damage 2. So the Ichigo swings and the damage 2 is these 2 cards. Let's check them out. We have Vanica and Dante. Now, Vanica is a color trigger, while Dante is a raid trigger. So, color for purple allows you to play 1 purple character with 2 or less required energy and 1 AP cost from your sideline set to active on your front line. Dante is a raid card, so he has the ability to add this card to your hand, or if you have the required energy, perform raid with it. And because this is damage 2, you're able to activate the abilities in any order. So let's go ahead and check out what happens next. Now, as you can see, we're able to resolve this in any way we see fit as the Black Clover player. So the question arises, if you revive the Dante in the sideline and then choose to raid, the Dante in the sideline has a win played ability. Now, will you be able to get that win played ability? Let's check this out. So we're going to activate the color trigger first, and then we'll go ahead and see about the raid trigger. First, we're going to go ahead and look at Dante. He does have the win played ability. Look at the top card of your deck, then place it on the top of your deck or into the sideline. We are going to activate the color trigger first, playing the Dante. Now we have a situation where we have two abilities that are still unresolved. We have the 2 energy Dante and the 5 energy raid Dante. The main question arises, do you have to raid immediately, or can you use the win played effect? And the answer is yes. You have 2 unresolved effects, and you can choose which order to use them in. Now, something to think about, if you use the raid Dante first, will you get the 2 energy Dante's win played ability? And the answer is no, you will not. So you go ahead, use the win played ability on the 2 energy Dante, and then you go ahead and raid to get maximum value. So let's go ahead and do that. We raid, and then this Dante also has a win played ability, so you continue to resolve, and that's how that situation would work. That's going to be the last ruling for today that I have for you. I'll be sure to keep you updated if we get any more official rulings, and if you have any questions yourself, be sure to leave your ruling questions down below, and if you'd like, also check out the Bandai Organized Play Discord, where you can ask other judges your questions through the ruling-question forum tab. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description, and thank you for checking out the channel. Make sure to subscribe for more Union Arena content, and I'll see you guys next time.